While we're here testing some of our gear, we kind of wanted to answer some questions we've been getting about how we plan on hiking as a couple. Often in the thru hiking community, there is that phrase, hike your own hike, and it has come up quite a bit that we won't be able to hike our own hike if we're hiking as a couple. And we just kind of wanted to go over how we're planning on preparing for that extra challenge while we're on trail.
So going into the hike, we as a couple are aware of what our priorities are and our goals.
That means we need to prioritize our relationship over finishing the hike. That's what we're gonna do. We've had those conversations to make sure we're on the same page before we step foot on the trail.
So what would you say your priorities are for this hike?
So my priorities going through this is our relationship, our growth over the hike. And that is over vlogging even. So if we feel like vlogging is taking away from our experience and our growth as a couple and as thru hikers, then we're not going to vlog as much as we really want to put it out there. We also are aware that if it becomes too much to do it daily, then we'll drop down to weekly and go down from there. Just see what we can do. Overall, hiking and our relationship takes priority. What about you?
My priority for the hike is really soaking things in on a day-to-day basis with you, and also honing in on our communication skills.
Yeah, I think this will be a good test for our communication and a good area of growth for us.
Yeah, I would also add that I do think we have a hard time recognizing achievements, both individually and as a couple.
We haven't stopped to enjoy what we've been able to accomplish so far.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that doing the hike will only allow us to really take it day by day, even hour by hour in some portions of it, but truly just being present with our environment and with each other.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of what if questions to make sure we're on the same page. So here we'll go through a few of our what ifs that people have asked us so far. What if one of us gets injured?
I think ultimately getting to the end of it is a goal for us to do together. So if one of us gets seriously injured and we have to get off the trail, then we're going to complete it together, so we both get off. However, if I do get hurt and you come to me and say, hey, you know what, I really want to continue on this journey, I'm not going to hold that against you. I think it's just going to have to be a situational thing. Like, if I need your support, then we can obviously talk about it, but I'm not going to restrict you if it comes down to you continuing on without me, or vice versa.
We're both very easygoing in that sense, where I wouldn't be hurt if she wanted to keep going, but also I feel like this is something that we're setting out to do together, and if one of us gets injured or determines that this isn't the right year, then we'll get off trail and we'll do it another year. Fostering our relationship is more important than completing the hike.
Yeah.
It's very close, but... What if one of us says that they just don't want to keep going anymore?
It's similar in the sense that it's going to be situational. If it's just we're waking up that morning and we don't have the motivation to go hike X amount of miles, whatever we set as our goal for that day, then, I'm going to try and hype you up. But if it comes down to, I can't do this anymore, or, hey, I think I got what I needed out of this, even though we've only completed half of it, then that's fine.
Yeah, there's really no pressure. We're just going to go see how long. We're going to get to the top of Katahdin, obviously. But if we don't, it's okay. Desire to keep going. I feel like with hiking as a couple, I think there's that responsibility of making sure your partner's needs are met as well as your own. So I think when you hear that, like, hey, look, I really don't think I can hike today, it's having to reflect on, are all of your partner's needs met? Are they hydrated properly? Are they eating enough? Do they really just need a rest day? That's the added challenge of hiking with a partner, is having to focus on both people's needs. And I think that's just something that we're willing to compromise in order to do this journey together.
What if somebody wants to hike a different pace than the other?
We both have very different strides. She'll walk a lot faster than I do here and there. So we're comfortable splitting up during the day and meeting up at certain landmarks or meeting up at certain times of the day, like lunchtime and then at dinner and whatnot. We're totally fine splitting apart and hiking our own hike for parts of the day. And I think there will also be a lot of mileage that we'll do together. We like to listen to different podcasts and different books and different music, so I think just kind of zoning out and doing our own thing for a little while is totally warranted. With the safety aspect of that, we are both bringing Garmin inReaches so that even if we don't have service, we can text each other through our inReach. We're also on the same page about really truly taking in all of the lookouts and making it a priority to enjoy the journey along the way. We have an idea of when we would like to finish the trail, but it's not set in stone. We're not going to rush by everything that we see day to day to make that goal. What kind of things warrant us going home?
The hardest thing for me are our dogs.
Yeah. It's really hard to leave our dogs behind for this long.
Yeah. If they're not enjoying their situation where we're rehoming them with our family, then obviously we're gonna prioritize their happiness as well. And then of course if there's any health issues, we're gonna go run for our fur babies.
Honestly, I think the dogs are gonna be way more fine than we are about it. I think we'll miss the dogs more than they miss us. So, again, the priorities, it's like our dog's health. If we need to get off trail for our dog, we will. If we need to get off trail for our family's health, we will. It's not the trail or nothing. There really are things that would warrant us to go home, and we've agreed and we're on the same page with those.
Yeah.
A lot of this hike is going to be compromise. I think a lot of people see that as a disadvantage, but honestly, I think it's just an opportunity of growth. And it's something that I've never really minded doing with you because we're pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it together, so there has to be that attitude that it's a 50-50 thing. So we have to be on the same page, and if not, we're going to compromise, and we're going to listen to each other and take it day by day. That's all it really is.
Another thing that's really important for you to think about and be on the same page with your partner if you plan on hiking together is to make sure that your budget is intact, to make sure you're both under the same thoughts as to how often you'll be in hostels, how often your rest days are, how often you're resupplying. That's really important to be on the same page before you go. And these things are forever changing. The entire hike, Ash and I will have to check in together to see if anything needs to be adjusted. But just to have an idea of what each other's expectations are, it's really important. Will it be more expensive to hike as a couple? And I've heard varying answers. Yes, we'll be spending as much as two people, but I don't know if we'll be spending more because we're a couple. I've heard maybe you hike slower, so you spend more money. So those are things that we're going to have to experience and learn while we're on the trail. And we'll get back to you guys at the end of our through hike to kind of explain what hiking as a couple was like. The only thing we haven't really agreed on is hiker resupply boxes and bringing a dog on trail.
I've dropped that. I've dropped it.
Ash would really like to have those guaranteed resupply boxes to make sure that she is getting the nutrition she needs. I'm a little hesitant because I'm afraid it's going to mess with our planning and we're gonna have to get into town at a certain time. But I think we've been able to compromise by saying we're not gonna do it for every stop. Through our research, we've found some different spots where it would be really nice to have resupply boxes. And so we'll do that. So we will be able to get things that we need, and I've come to really like the idea. I think it would be nice to have those. So what kind of gear are we sharing? As a couple, we are still going out into the woods in preparation of being separated.
So things that we are not sharing as a couple would be
basically everything. The only thing we're sharing is the tent and the cook stove.
Only thing we share is the tent and the pot. I might steal your pillow here and there.
Ah, yes. And why are we doing this? What was really important for us getting ready to go hiking is knowing our whys. Essentially, we are going to put a reset on the go, go, go part of our life. We're going to focus on what truly matters, continue to be young, and what our ultimate mission is. And that's to get to the top of Katahdin with our relationship intact. If you have any other questions or what ifs about hiking as a couple on the trail, leave them in the comments below, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them along the way as we learn. So we're gonna go figure it out and we'll let you know how it goes. Just mom spit me.
I mean, you look a mess.
What would I do without you?